Welcome back everybody to the channel where we invest in our personal and financial growth. And today we're going to analyze none other than Mr. Elon Musk. Now, he's been tremendously successful and I want to know why. So I've been researching him for quite a bit, for quite a while, because I'm also a Tesla investor. So obviously I'm curious about that, but it's from a financial perspective. Now today we're going to analyze his thinking. People who know me know I love to research why people are successful in business and learning. Heck, I even wrote a book about it in Dutch, which covers the psychological side of learning based on more than 100 research articles. And today we're gonna do exactly that. We're gonna look at research articles that maybe give us some insight about how he thinks, what we can learn from it, and how we could apply that for our own success. So we're looking at an interview from 2012 done by Pandodaily Monthly, where Elon Musk gives a great insight in his thinking. We're not gonna watch the whole hour of interview. You could look it up on YouTube. I've linked it in the description down below. We're going to only take a look at some segments and analyze it through research articles. So let's get going. Start with number 1. So here Elon Musk is talking about his motivation. Now listen closely what type of motivation he uses.
I think, but I think I'm trying to allocate my efforts to that which I think would most affect the future of humanity in a positive way. And I think there's lots of entrepreneurial energy and financing headed towards the internet, whereas in certain sectors like automotive and solar and space, you don't see new entrants. There's not a lot of capital going to startups and not a lot of entrepreneurs going into those arenas. And the problem is that in the absence of some new entrants into an industry, you don't have that force for innovation. It's really new entrants that drive innovation more than anything.
So this little clip already indicates a little bit of his motivational type, because he talks about life goals, and we all know it with Elon Musk. Changing the world is really important to him, sustainable energy. Fundamentally, doing something he believes in is a real driver for him. Now, to fully analyze his motivation, we're looking, amongst others, at a research article which is written in Dutch, done by Sirens and Stenkisten. Well, this study is so cool because it builds upon the self-determination theory, which has been the most reliable framework to identify the most effective motivational types. For people unfamiliar with this theory, old school thoughts about motivation were quantitative. Oh, a person has no motivation at all. Oh, he's lazy. But now we know the quality of your motivation is a far better predictor for success than quantity. And the most widely known types of motivation are intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation. Intrinsic meaning you really love what you're doing, like playing football or some kind of hobby. With extrinsic, the rewards are outside of the activity. Let's say, I have to do this because otherwise my friends think I'm a failure, or something like that. And Sirens and Van Steenkisten found there's even a better way to categorize motivation. Controlled motivation versus autonomous motivation. You could say controlled means you feel like you have to do something, and autonomous motivation is more like a strong desire to want to do something. And you guessed that people are able to do things because they love what they do, it aligns with their life goals or personal values, are far better achievers in college, career, health, you name it. And the research really backs it up. Now that doesn't mean you always find the task pleasant, because that only covers intrinsic motivation. Listen to this.
You've said, I think this is the first time I've interviewed you and you haven't said it, that being an entrepreneur is like standing on the edge of an abyss, looking into abyss and chewing broken glass.
Yeah, actually that's a phrase from a friend of mine, Bill Lee, who is early internet entrepreneur, has done a number of things since. And the phrase that he uses is like starting a company is like, it's like chewing glass and staring into the abyss.
Right. So I flipped it.
Yeah, just so it's I mean, there's a point which obviously it's not that way.
Do you still feel like that, or is
no,
it easy now?
The staring to the abyss part is just, are you facing imminent death? And we certainly were at SpaceX and Tesla and Solar City for a long time. We're no longer staring into the abyss, which is great. There's always going to be some amount of glass that's got to be chewed.
So this clip indicates to me that his motivation is more likely to be autonomous rather than only intrinsic, because he doesn't always love what he has to do, but still wants to do it because it aligns with what he finds important, and this offers him far better results than anyone else. So one way we could learn from him is to focus our actions on things that are really important for us, or find reason why we still want to put effort in maybe a boring job. For instance, I want to still work because it makes me happy to provide for my family. Okay, I'll leave it at that as far as motivation. There's tons of other ways to increase your motivation. If you would like more on that topic, let me know. I'm happy to share my research on that topic. For now, let's go to the next thing we could learn from Elon Musk. Number 2 thing we could learn is his mindset. Now, luckily there's been research about that too. So let's dive in and listen what he has to say.
So, and they invested before we got to orbit, so credit to them for that. But I did have to show that I could actually make stuff. Like I never actually made physical stuff before, before SpaceX. So let alone rockets.
So you started with a rocket.
Yeah, I mean that's a hard one, and it's the probability of success was low. In fact, when I started SpaceX, I thought that the most likely outcome was failure. And I think to have any other expectation would have been irrational. It may seem odd that I would start SpaceX with an expectation of failure, but bear in mind that my initial thing was to do essentially a philanthropic mission with a 0% chance of success from a financial standpoint. So it would have effectively been a donation to the cause. And so anything better than that is a win.
Right.
So this is such a great clip because it shows his mindset. Most people only want to do things they're good at, or they know have a good chance of success because they have the desire, for instance, to look smart. Now, a theory that relates to that is the growth and fixed mindset. This mindset theory is developed by Professor Carl Dweck and covers 2 ways of thinking, each with an effect on your success. The fixed mindset is the mindset that your abilities are fixed and can't be changed that much. You have to be good at stuff, otherwise people might judge you for not being capable. And since you can change the way you are, that would have a damaging effect on your self-esteem. So people with a fixed mindset in a certain area tend to avoid challenges. Now, Elon Musk in this clip demonstrates he certainly doesn't avoid challenges. I think his behavior really fits the growth mindset. This is a mindset that you can improve. Even if you're not able to do things now, you could learn to do it, or at least get better at it. This way of thinking makes it so you're less occupied with how people judge you, because it doesn't reflect you. It only reflects your abilities in that specific moment. Now, what's so great about this growth mindset is that research shows that with this way of thinking, you're far more likely to have grit, to persevere when encountering setbacks, and to achieve more. Because think about it, every new thing you have to learn, you can't do it right away. So the baseline is failure. The baseline is being not so good at something new. Now, and we often forget with people who are tremendously successful is that they have encountered a lot of failures and setbacks. And they didn't give up, but looked for ways to succeed and improve. And this next clip demonstrates a portion of that even better.
2008 in particular was awful because we had the 3rd launch failure in a row of our Falcon 1 vehicle at SpaceX. The Tesla financing round that we were raising fell apart because the economy was going through tailspin. And it's pretty hard to raise money for a startup car company, late 2008 when GM and Chrysler are busy going bankrupt. That was tough. And then Solar City had to deal with Morgan Stanley, and Morgan Stanley had to renege on the deal because they themselves were running out of money. So it looked like all 3 companies were going to die, and I was also going through a divorce. So that was definitely a low point. But fortunately, the 4th launch worked. And then...
Did you think the 3rd launch was going to work? Was it a shock that it didn't?
Well, I thought it would I thought the odds of it working were better than 50%. But
So the second major way we could learn from Elon Musk is applying his growth mindset. Don't try to do only the easy stuff. Try difficult things where you know the possibility of failure is present. Don't avoid them. Try to improve and take them as learning experience and have better results in the future. Well, that's it for today's video, because I initially wanted to do 5 things and psychological theories we could apply to Elon Musk and learn from them, but I soon found out I was talking way too much and the video would like be 30 minutes. So I thought, okay, just keep it as these 2 major things, which in my mind are the most important things, which I covered. If you want to know the other ones, I could do a video on those as well. Maybe you just want to learn more about mindsets and ways to apply it for yourself for successful learning or growing as a human being. And that goes for motivational theories as well. I could do a deep dive into research, proven ways, stuff like that. Let me know in the comments if that's something you would like. And also maybe you got some feedback or ways you see I could improve this channel or up my content level. Let me know, because I'm just starting with this. I'm new to this. I'm learning to edit and stuff like that. So it's all new, but it's fun. So let me know if you liked it. It's a thumbs up. If you want to join the Thinkers Club, also do it. It's free anyways, and you're part of the club right away. Anyway, have a good day and see you next video. Ciao.